This is Big Mike, the Computer Dad, rocking my Spider Dad t-shirt, and today we're going to be unboxing the SuperLink Gateway from Ubiquiti. Let's first take a look at what the SuperLink is, what devices can connect to it, and what we're going to do today to unbox and show how it initially gets set up. We can see on the Ubiquiti page the SuperLink Gateway, as it states, is a proprietary super long-range, low-latency wireless gateway for unified Protect sensors. Ubiquiti is starting to open the door to the market for home security, and they have a variety of things that connect into the SuperLink Gateway that's using Bluetooth technology to integrate all of these various long battery life sensors in their environment. We'll just click through a few that I'm looking at getting. I haven't gotten yet. I have the entry sensor, but there's a lot that they are starting to add to this portfolio. So you can see here they have the siren, so 110 decibel siren. They have a PoE version of that siren, all-in-one sensor, which is environment sensor, motion sensor, light sensor, etc. They have a general motion sensor, the entry sensor, which I picked up, which I'm going to use for a doorway entry to see how that works and whether or not it's going to replace the system I currently use. An environmental sensor, which is used for water leaks and temperature, humidity, anything else in the environment that would be good for hot water heaters, utility rooms. If you have an application for this in actual IT, you could put it in the MDF or IDF rooms and make sure you're monitoring if there's a computer room AC unit in there, any moisture, any buildup, things like that that might be a threat to the computer equipment. They also have an antenna, and the way they show that in the mock-up is it's designed for outdoor applications for an even longer range for the SuperLink, and a glass break sensor. A couple of things that they don't have that might make this system a little bit better. Keypad. You think of platforms like SimpliSafe and other home security systems, ADT, things like that, where they have everything based around the keypad. The registration, you can turn off and on the alarm. There's all kinds of monitoring through the mobile app. Not really sure what that looks like yet. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to show it what it looks like setting it up from the Ubiquiti webpage, and also showing what it looks like managing that system from within the Ubiquiti app. So you can see there's a bunch of different things here that you can do with this SuperLink Gateway. And then just scrolling down, showing what's in the box, what we can expect to connect, or what we can expect to see when we get that unboxed, is the SuperLink Gateway itself. It has the ability to be powered by USB-C or PoE. It has the various mounts, and it has a DIN mount. And I had to look up what that was. I wasn't familiar with that, but that can be used for wall mounting. So you can tie that into a DIN rack, which is sometimes used in electrical for mounting breakers, mounting other components. You can mount it to that if you want to install that in a central space in your utility room in your house. If you don't have a dedicated network space, you can use that as well. But it also just provides your standard drywall mounts. Mileage may vary with your experience with those. I think they just throw random ones in. But use whatever you feel is necessary. I tend to like, with this equipment, with all Ubiquiti equipment, I go with the heavy duty command strips. That way I'm not causing a ton of damage to the wall. I don't have to drill and re-drill holes. Use what you feel is best. All right, let's get into the unboxing and take a look at what's in there, and then we'll get into the setup of the device and take a look at how the entry sensor is joined and how that functions from the perspective of the unified mobile app in the Protect console. And again, this is all bound to the Protect console. So where you have your security system today, maybe you have Ubiquiti cameras or looking at that system, that is all tied into the Protect platform. All right, let's get into the unboxing. You'll notice in the back the SFP wizard. I have a video on that if you want to go take a look. But this is the SuperLink Gateway. One thing that I noticed about the box, and you'll see here in a second, is that somebody took the joy from the unboxing. What a bummer. Anyway, I was able to rip that open and no problem. The reason I'm looking at this is I currently have a system. I have a SimpliSafe system. I'll just be honest. I have a SimpliSafe system that I'm using. And because I'm heavy in the Ubiquiti space, I have the cameras, I have all the other cool stuff that I want on my home network right now. I want to move in the direction of seeing what this is all about. Is it something that I think is going to replace my SimpliSafe system immediately? Probably not. There's things that I mentioned like the keypad or key fobs and other components that it doesn't yet have, but am I worried that they're going to not develop those things? No, not at all. I think those are going to come out. Those are going to be features that Ubiquiti releases as they continue developing it. Another thing that I would like to see them develop is go back to, at one point they had the smart locks for residential home locks instead of the fail safe or fail open and all of those more commercial applications for the access control system. But looking at the unboxing of the SuperLink, this is a rugged unit. It's very solid, good weight to it. I always base my estimate on a piece of product, whether or not it feels like it's cheap or cheaply made. This does not. Solid metal, has the antenna on that, and I showed you in the beginning of the video the extender antenna, so you can plug directly in that if you wanted to use an outdoor application or extend your range. And it's the usual fare inside the box, exactly what I showed you in the website as far as what comes with the product. So you have the bubble level, you have the mounting tools for various mounting applications. Again, I mentioned I use just the stronger, I think it's 12 to 16 pounds, something like that. Command strips, those work really well. I kept the the manual this time. I didn't throw it across the room. But very simple as to what comes with the SuperLink. Nothing, as I often say in these unboxing videos, no frills, no thrills. And you get an idea of what you're going to get from the webpage. They don't hide anything from you. It's not like you're not going to know what's in the box. And then we did the unboxing of the entry sensor as well. And I've used entry sensor in the past. I will admit this one's pretty bulky, and you'll see that as we pull it out. The entry sensors I have today for the SimpliSafe unit are relatively slim and lightweight. This thing's pretty thick, 2 C's. So what I'm concerned about is application and placement with this unit. Now, granted, it comes in, and that's all included in the packaging. It comes with various 3M stickers to mount to it. It has a back plate that you can screw in and connect it all to. All well and good, but this thing's kind of big, Ubiquiti. Like if we could shrink the size a little bit, that would be great. And you saw there that I pulled that out to unlock the battery. I kind of fiddled with this a little bit in the unboxing video, but I didn't want to pull the case too hard. There's actually a tool in there that looks like it's designed for that purpose. So you'll see that in a second here, but there's an LED indicator on the bottom. There's a connect button, which you'll see later in the video, that is used to connect it to the SuperLink and get that registered in the Protect portal and Unify portal. And then this is the magnet. So it's actually, and I'll show you later, it's side specific. So it's not disconnect, open, close sensors across the entirety of that larger sensor. It's got to be on the specific side, on the right side of that unit if you're looking directly at it. And that's the little tool that goes into the, I believe it goes in the back there. I think that's what that's used for. I tried to pop it off. Like I said, I got a little nervous. I didn't want to break it while I'm doing the unboxing, so I'll play with that later. But I believe that's what that's used for, to pop that out and get to the battery. The funny thing is, and you'll see this in the UI, is that it shows long life. It doesn't actually give you an estimate. It just says really long life. So take that for what it is. I don't doubt that. The sensors that I've had for the SimpliSafe system are like your typical watch batteries, and those don't need to get changed very often. I think I've gone, the longest one I've gone, I know, has been like 2 years. I try to look at them every 6 months, make sure the battery life's good, just as a good health and safety check, if you will. But that's something to keep in mind too, is these are expected to have long battery life. So this is the entire kit. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Just again, the size of the door sensor was pretty surprising. I thought it was going to be much smaller. If they can work on that would make it more attractive. But now we'll transition to getting the SuperLink set up in the system and some of the setups that I have to do in the Ubiquiti platform. Now that the unit is unboxed, the next step is we need to get it on the network and have it ready for adoption. To do that, I'm going to switch over to my Ubiquiti system. We're going to take a look at my USW Lite 8 PoE. Don't let the name fool you. There's only 4 PoE ports on this switch. I use this on my desk for various things on my test bench or testing out security devices like this. So we're going to use a utility port that I have configured, and we're going to flip that port profile over from test bench to the security VLAN. The security VLAN I created has all of my cameras on it. Everything related to the Protect system is going to live on that VLAN. So we'll go ahead and apply changes, and then we're going to take a look at what it looks like when we fire this up and have a screen recording of the adoption process from the Ubiquiti perspective. Let's take a look. All right, so we're getting this plugged into that 8-port switch. The port is already configured for the security VLAN. This is a 10100 link, so it's fast Ethernet. On this switch, you'll see the amber light fire up for that, and it's providing PoE over that link. And it pops up for detection, just like you would expect for any Ubiquiti appliance. The left-hand view is the view from the mobile app, and then the right-hand view is directly in the web browser, where I can proceed with setting up the device, getting it adopted, and getting it updated. The process took about 10 or so minutes to complete the adoption and update all in. And then we got to the entry sensor and got that connected, set it up, linked it to the device, and enrolled it. So everything, or adopted it rather, and everything checked in. I was able to lock it to that link. So this, in this case, the SuperLink, you can have multiple SuperLinks and lock specific devices to that in case there's different distances in the house or distances to devices, all depending on your architecture. Now I was able to test the open close functionality, see what that looks like from within the UI. And then the next step was, what does it do? You know, what do you do when it opens and closes? Well, Ubiquiti has some logic that we can use to set up the open close alarms within the system. So you see here, I keep testing open close, just seeing the behavior in the platform. And then here, I just quickly fumbled through just configuring the notifications, the alarms, who I wanted it to notify, how I wanted it to alarm, what I wanted to do. So what I ended up doing here to test it is having it notify the chimes that I have set up in my house. I have a PoE chime and a Wi-Fi chime throughout the house. Now, granted, I did freak my dog out, so that was fun because our baby's sleeping. So, you know, kudos to me for testing this live. But hey, we made it through. But in this case, you go through the process. I was trying to figure out how to get the test alarm to pop up, and it wasn't. So I just unselected and reselected the device and listen in. And that is effectively it. That's what it took to set this up. Now I'm going to play around with the alarms. I'm going to play around with the placement and mounting it and things like that. But like I mentioned, and this is just a note to Ubiquiti, make that thing smaller. That door frame, and I'm not a security expert or anything like that, but I would want that to be smaller, more sleek, less immediately noticeable. I would want it to be obscure in the doorway and on a door, and also not to be subject to getting abused. The smaller ones that I have for the SimpliSafe system right now don't stick out. These, I'm worried, are going to stick out and get hit all the time by stuff coming in and out of the door. Especially, I'm a big person. I tend to carry a bunch of stuff in the house from time to time. I worry about that getting knocked over or knocked off and breaking. And at the price point for these sensors, it's not cheap to replace these things. So the form factor, I think, plays a big role. Going back to my original point, do I think that this will replace something like a SimpliSafe? No, not in the short term. Maybe in the long term, depending on where Ubiquiti takes it. However, things like SimpliSafe, ADT, other platforms like that are designed to be security systems. So keep that in mind when you're building your home security environment, what you want. Because with SimpliSafe, you pay a premium, you pay a subscription to get access to additional features, such as the ability for them to contact 911 in the event of an alarm and you're not responding to it. There's a variety of other elements to that just aren't included in Ubiquiti. And I don't know if they will be. And the keypad thing is certainly big. Obviously, you can use your mobile device to configure that and, you know, the open close functionality, but all depends on what you're looking to do. I think for me, I'm going to get a couple more devices. I'll get probably the environment sensor and see what else they come out with before I go a little bit too deep. I may play around with the siren just because I have the SimpliSafe siren. It's a 105 decibel siren, and I like that a lot, that when the alarm goes off, the base station goes off, and then the exterior alarm and 105 decibel siren goes off. So the neighborhood knows if something's going on at the house, especially because I test the system every quarter just to make sure it's functional. And again, if you have a home security system, you should be testing it frequently, checking batteries, the whole nine. With this platform, I like the potential that it has, but I don't think I'm all in on having it replace my security system just yet. I do love the Protect platform. I love the cameras and everything about it. We'll see where it goes. We'll see what they do with the SuperLink and how they evolve it. I think I'll get maybe another entry sensor, but definitely that environment sensor and test that out. So expect an unboxing and setup video for that. But for right now, I'm curious your thoughts. What do you think? Do you have a platform at home? Do you use Ubiquiti? Are you looking to get some kind of home security? Do you have a Simply Safe or a Ring security system or Cove or whatever else might be out there? And would you consider this thing worth the investment to start, this thing being the Ubiquiti platform, worth the investment to start moving over to if you have other Unify elements in your home network? Let me know in the comments. As always, thank you very much for watching. Subscribe if you find this information interesting. If you like these videos, check out my other videos. I have a Ray-Ban unboxing. I have the SFP Wizard unboxing. I have a couple others that are out there, Ubiquiti specific. And I'm building some other content as we go through the year on Microsoft Intune and other systems that I work with on a daily basis and really enjoy learning and developing as I continue my career path and life in the world of technology. But again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one.